A story, I tell you, you tell me a story. Hello, boys and girls, I'm Miss Jackie, and today I'm going to tell you some stories. Now, some of them are old, some of them are new, and some of them are true. But the first thing I have to do is explain to you what this thing is called a story. Now, I had a friend who had a cousin, who had an aunt whose brother's mother's sister's son told them why we have stories. You want to hear? Okay, a long, long time ago, all the stories in the world belonged to one person. His name was Nyame, and he had a golden throne up in the middle of the sky, and beside that golden throne was a golden box. And in the golden box, well, there were all the stories. So if you wanted to know the reason why or the time when, you had to go and ask Naomi. Well, there came a time when my friend Anansi decided that was not okay. You do know about Anansi, right? Anansi the spider? I don't believe you've never heard of him. Where have your children been living? Well, let me tell you. Anansi is the smartest creature on the face of the planet, or so he thinks. And one day, he decided to go and get all the stories from Nyame. He wanted to know the reason why and the time when, and he felt like everyone should share them. So, Anansi started to walk. He's got 8 legs, it takes him a while. To the throne of the great sky god Nyame. And he bowed down low with his head touching the ground and said, "Oh, great Father, could you give me something?" Nyame said, "Sure. Could you give me all the stories in that box?" Oh, Nyame threw back his head and laughed. And then he thought, I can play a trick on this spider. So he gathered himself up. All right, Anansi, I will give you all the stories in all the world. You, Anansi, will know the reason that crab has no head, why mosquito buzzes in people's ears. You'll know it all, Anansi. But you'll have to do one little favor for me. Oh, certainly, said Anansi, because he knew he was the cleverest person in the whole world. So he said, what should I do? Oh, Nyame said, it won't be much. I just need you to bring me 3 gifts. Certainly, said Anansi, what are they? Well, first, I want the leopard with long teeth. Osibo? Oh, said Anansi, of course. And I want the hornets that stings. Bzzz. Oh, okay, Anansi said, that's fine. And finally, said the sky god, I want Moatia, the fairy that no man sees. Now, all the people around Nyame's throne began to laugh because these were 3 very difficult things to do. Boys and girls, how is this going to happen? Well, Anansi had given his word, and so he decided that he would be and prove that he was the most clever person and he could do this. So he began to walk down from the throne of the great sky god, and as he was walking, he began to listen for the bzzz, bzzz, bzzz of the hornet's nest. He got a banana leaf and a gourd, and on his way, he filled the gourd with water and still listened for the bzz, bzz, bzz of the hornet's nest. When he heard the bzz, bzz, bzz of the hornet's nest, he began to sprinkle water on that banana leaf. And he began to speak of rain. My brothers, he said, it's going to get wet. Come into my gourd. And the buzzing hornets did. At which point Anansi plugged the hole of that gourd with some mud. He spun a web to hold the gourd and hung the gourd in the branch of a tree. That's one. Now, he decided that he would need to think a moment about this Osibo. Now, boys and girls, have you ever seen a leopard? A leopard is a cat. A big cat. A big cat with big teeth and claws. Anansi thought and thought. And then he went and got a stick and stood outside the leopard's cave just past leaping distance and began to sing. Na 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 ta tina, tina singulele ute, oh what's tina. The leopard opened his eyes. What are you doing? Oh, I'm just singing the binding song. Tina, tina singulele ute, oh what's What is the binding song? Oh, said Anansi, it's just a song. We sing it when we do the binding dance. Tina, tina, singulele ute. What is the binding dance? Oh, it's the dance we do when we play the binding game. Tina, tina, singulele ute. Oh, what's Do you want to play the binding game? The leopard said, what is the binding game? Oh, said Anansi, we sing the binding song, we do the binding dance, and then first, I bind you, and then you bind me. Osipo looked at the spider and thought, I can catch him. I will tie him up, and then he will be mine. But he forgot something about spiders. They know all about knots. And so, Anansi began to sing the binding song. Tina, tina, singulele ute, oh, what's And he began to do the binding dance. Tina, tina, singulele ute, oh, what's And before he knew it, that leopard was tied up, hand to foot to hand. Anansi spun a bag to hold the leopard and hung him in the tree next to the hornets. That's two. Now, I know what you're thinking, boys and girls. You're thinking, he caught some bugs, and he caught a cat, but now he's supposed to catch a fairy. This is a magical creature. This is something that can't be captured. But haven't you been listening? We're talking about Kwaku Anansi. Kwaku Anansi, who is so very clever. Now, he knew that the fairy Moatia liked to dance behind and around a wonderfully brilliant, flamboyant tree. Have you ever seen a flamboyant tree? Oh, it's beautiful, boys and girls. It grows in tropical places. It has beautiful red flowers on it and a lovely scent, and it blooms at night. So, as the sun is setting, Moatia comes and dances around the flamboyant tree. Anansi went to the flamboyant tree, and he began to sit and carve and think. And when he was done, he had a little man. And the little man was holding in his hand a little bowl. Anansi made some wonderful spicy yam paste and put it in the bowl. He's thinking. Then he went to a rubber tree and cut a hole in it and put the sticky latex all over the little man and set him by the flamboyant tree. And then Anansi sat and waited, singing, humming, ba-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da. Moatia came out and began to dance around the flamboyant tree. And then she saw this little man and she said, "Who are you?" And he didn't answer. And she took a breath to yell at him and she smelled it. The spicy yam paste, the thing she loved to eat. And so she said, "Little man, if you will share your dish with me, I will let you go." And he didn't answer. "Little man," she said, "are you not listening? I told you that if you shared your spicy yam paste with me, I would let you go." He did not answer. "Little man," she said, "if you do not share your spicy yam paste, I must take it. I will raise my right hand and her hand stuck. "Little man," she said, "let go of my hand or I will have to raise my left hand," and she was stuck. "Little man," she said, "this is no longer amusing. If you don't let me go, I must use my..." "Little man, this is so wrong. Let me..." And now she was completely stuck. A smarter fairy might have stopped there, but Moatia was known for her beauty and not her brains, and so she decided that she would use her head, and she did, and whoop! And then she was stuck in the little rubber man. Anansi went and rolled her up into a ball, spun a bag to hold her, and hung her in the tree next to the hornet and the leopard. That's 3. He got his machete and cut the tree limb from its mother, drug all 3 of his prizes to the throne of the great sky god Nyame and presented them to him. Everyone was shocked. But Nyame keeps his word, and so he gave Anansi the box with all the stories. And Anansi said, "I will share these with the world." And he began to walk down the steps from the throne of the great sky god. And as he was walking, he began to think, this is not good. Anansi began to think that maybe these stories are too precious to be shared. Maybe I should keep them all to myself. And so he took the box and put it in the corner of his house. And there it would have stayed, boys and girls. Except that one day Anansi became curious. He wanted to know why crabs have no head. And he knew that the answer was in that box. So he crept back into the corner of his house and lifted the lid up just high enough to figure out why crabs have no head. But the lid flew off and all the stories escaped and they spread all over the world for anyone to have, including this one, which I just told you. Tina, Tina singulele ute, what's up, what's up, what's up? Oh, boys and girls, That's my favorite story, except for the one that Anansi let out. You know, the one where he found out why crabs have no heads? You never wondered about that? You never wondered why when you pick up a crab, it's got all these little legs sticking out from the side, but no head, just antenna that wiggle with eyes on the end. Isn't that weird? Well, there is a reason for everything, and I know them all. So here, boys and girls, is why crabs have no head. It has to do with, now I know none of you have ever done this, but I'm just going to say it. It has to do with not listening to your mother. So here it is. At the beginning of the world, the great mother was making all the animals. She gave the monkey hands and fingers like ours, and she could not decide whether to make the zebra black with white stripes or white with black stripes, but she finally came to a decision. She gave the giraffe his neck and the rhinoceros his horn and the lion his beautiful mane, and she had just finished with the snake when she came to the crab. Oh, he was such a beautiful little jewel. She gave him a hard little shell and nice little legs, and then she got really, really sleepy. And so she said, "Here, little one, here are some eyes. Now, come back tomorrow, and I will give you your head. There's only one rule. Don't be a braggart." Do you know what a braggart is? It's somebody that kind of says stuff that maybe might not always be true. And she knew just from looking at him that crab might be one to stretch the truth. So she warned him, don't do it. And then she put him on the ground and let him run away. And crab walked along. And one of the animals said, "Where is your head?" And crab said, "Well, I don't have one yet." And he walked a little further, and the monkey said, "Where's your head?" And crab said, "I don't have one yet." And he got really sad because everybody else got their heads. And so he began to think that maybe these people were picking on him. And so when the giraffe said, "Where is your head?" Crab said, "Well, I don't have one yet, but the great mother said that when I get my head, it's going to be better than yours." Oh, boys and girls, do you see what's happening here? Crab walked, and the lion said, "Where is your head?" And Crab just said, "Listen, everybody listen. The great mother loved me so much that she's taking 2 days to make me. And when I get my head, it's going to be magnificent. I am going to have a neck as long as the giraffe's. I am going to have a mane more beautiful than the lion's. I'm going to have teeth like the leopard. My head is going to have a big nose, and at the end of it is going to be a horn like the rhinoceros, and coming out of my mane are going to be curling horns like the antelope. Oh, my head is going to be marvelous." Well, the next morning, the great mother woke up to see all of creation at her door, stomping and raising up dust. And so she said, what is happening? Why are you all here?" And the monkey said, "We came to see Crab get his head." "Well, why would you all need to see Crab get his head?" "Well," said the monkey, "he said it's going to be the best head ever. He said he's going to have a neck like the giraffe. He's going to have a mane like the lion. He's going to have horns like that." And where is Crab? Well, boys and girls, you know how when you, not that you've ever done this, but you know how when when your friends or your brother and sister don't listen to your mother? And your mother calls you? Well, do you answer? So the great mother said, Crab. No answer. Crab. No answer. So you know how when your mother calls you by your whole name, the great mother raised herself to her full height and said, Crab! Crab had been hiding at the back of the crowd. And when the great mother called him by his whole name, everybody got out of the way. And poor little Crab was standing there on a path leading to his mother. He turned sideways and walked toward his mother. And he said, Yes? Crab, said the great mother, I understand that you have been talking about the magnificent head you are going to get. What? So the great mother picked him up. So, Crab, you want a head with a neck like the giraffe, and a mane like the lion, and a nose with a horn like the rhino. No, only if it please the great mother, said Crab. And she looked at him and she said, You know, little one, what would please me? It would please me if you stayed just the way you are. And that's how it's been. All through time. All the other animals have heads. But Crab, he's just got a lovely little body and two little eyes sticking out. And he still walks sideways in case he's in trouble. Oh, poor Crab, poor Crab. I don't understand how he didn't listen to his mother, do you? Because I know all of you do. You all listen to your mothers all the time. And you never exaggerate, ever. Because if you did, you'd be in the same predicament that the mosquitoes in. Now, we have a lot of mosquitoes here in Philadelphia. I know I'm not from here, but when I came here, I said, boy, you all have a lot of mosquitoes. And the mosquitoes are always buzzing like bzz, 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 all in your ear. You ever wonder why they did that? Well, I'm sorry to say, it's because of an exaggeration. You know what an exaggeration is, right? It's kind of like what Crab did. So it was like this. The iguana was walking through the bush. That's what he says when he walks. And he passed the mosquito. And she said, Iguana, iguana, iguana. And he said, what? Iguana. I just saw a yam as big as me. Now a mosquito is this big. So the iguana said, so? Oh, iguana, it was a giant yam. It was as big as me. Iguana was going to ignore mosquito, but she kept following him, talking about the giant yam as big as me. So finally, he got two sticks and stuck them in his ear so he wouldn't have to hear her anymore, and she eventually flew away. But Iguana forgot about his sticks. So he was walking through the bush, and the snake saw him and raised his head. Hello, Iguana. How is your day? But the iguana didn't answer. And the snake got worried. That iguana, he's plotting against me. He didn't answer me. And so the snake went down the nearest hole, which happened to belong to the rabbit. Rabbit saw the snake coming in her house, and ran out the back door. When Rabbit ran out the back door, the crow flying over said, "Oh, Rabbit's running in the daytime. There has to be a problem." And he started to fly. "Danger, caw, danger." And the monkey heard the crow making the danger sound and started to fly through the trees going, "Danger, danger, danger, danger." And when he was flying through the trees, he knocked over Mother Owl's nest and one of her babies fell out. When Mother Owl came back, she said, she counted her babies. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. "Where is your brother?" And the other baby said, "The monkey knocked him out of the nest." Oh, Mother Owl was so upset. Now, you would think that it would all end there. But you see, Mother Owl had a very, very special job. It was her job to hoot every morning and wake the sun. And she was so upset with the monkey for hurting her baby that she didn't hoot. Not that morning, or the next morning, or the morning after that. She just sat there with her poor little baby patting on him and being sad and angry at monkey. This went on for a while. And you know, boys and girls, when the sun doesn't shine, it kind of gets cold and all the animals were worried. And so they went to see the lion, who was in charge of the whole jungle. And they said, "Mother Owl won't hoot to wake the sun." So a great big conference was held with all the animals. And the lion called Mother Owl and said, "Why aren't you hooting to open the sun?" And she said, "Well, but the monkey hurt my baby. See, his little wing is hurt. And he didn't even apologize, and I'm sad." So they called the monkey. "Monkey, monkey, it's your fault. Apologize." The monkey said, "I don't need to apologize. I don't need to apologize. It's not my fault. Crow did it. Crow told me there was danger. I had to do it." So they called the crow. And the big black bird came into the center of the screen, of the circle, and said, "It is not my fault. I was only doing my job. I saw the rabbit running in the day. That is a sure sign of danger." So they called the rabbit. "It's the rabbit's fault. It's the rabbit's fault." And the poor little rabbit came out in the middle of the circle and said, "Not me. It is not my fault. You see, the snake came into my house. I had to run. You know the snake." So they called the snake. "Snake, snake, why did you do this?" And the snake said, "Not my fault. I was only hiding from Iguana. Iguana is plotting against me." "How do you know," said the lion, "that Iguana is plotting against you?" "Because," said the snake, "I greeted him and he did not answer." So everyone called for Iguana. But he didn't hear them. They called, and finally Iguana, who was on the other side of the forest, said, "Wonder where everybody is," and started to walk to the meeting place. And he saw all the people meeting, but he couldn't hear what they were saying. So he wandered into the middle of the circle, and the lion said, "Iguana, Iguana, someone take those sticks out of his ears." So they took the sticks out, and he said, "Iguana, what have you done?" And the iguana said, I don't understand." So the monkey took over. He said, "Well, listen, here's what happened. You did not greet the snake. The snake scared the rabbit scared the crow. The crow told me there was danger. I just did my job. That Mother Owl's baby fell out of the nest, and now she won't hoot to wake the sun until the person who's responsible apologized." And the iguana said, I don't know what you mean. There's nothing for me to apologize for. I'm not plotting against the snake. I just couldn't hear him because I had the sticks in my ears. And anyway, I put the sticks in my ears because of the mosquito. She was talking about this giant yam, and it was just annoying me. The mosquito did it. So they called for the mosquito. Now, she had been sitting on a leaf all along listening to this, and no way was she going to take the blame for this. So she flew away. They never did find her. But since Mother Owl had solved the problem, she hooted to wake the sun, and Mosquito just tries to keep out of everybody's way. Every now and then you'll hear her buzzing in your ear, bzz, 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 bzz. And you know what she's saying? Do you forgive me? And do you know the answer she gets every time? That one. Now, boys and girls, I'm sure that I have convinced you never to exaggerate, right? We are never going to exaggerate because things happen when we exaggerate. You know, I've been talking a lot about exaggeration and not listening to your mother and why things happen. And so I want to tell you one more story. So here's this story. I love this story. It's so great. And it all happened because I asked a question of my friend Ping. I said, Ping, why is your name so short? I mean, Ping. As soon as you say it, it's over. What happened? And Ping said to me, oh, Miss Jackie, you don't know why Chinese parents give their children little short names? I said, no. I mean, I would think that if you really loved your child, you would give her a long, beautiful name, so it would take you a long time to call her. And Ping said, oh, it used to be that way. People used to give their children really long names until Tikkitikkitembo's problem occurred. Who is Tikkitikkitembo? You don't know. All right, boys and girls, if you can, you have to remember this name, and I'm going to help you. His name was Tikkitikkitembo, no sarimbo, chari bari ruchi, pip peri pimbo. His mother gave him that name because she was her first son. He was her first son, and his name meant most precious pearl, glory of my heart. Tikkitikkitembo, no sarimbo, chari bari ruchi, pip peri pimbo. Had a brother. His name was Chang. His mother named him Chang because, well, he wasn't much. Now, Chang and Tikkitikkitembo, no sarimbo, chari bari ruchi, pip peri pimbo used to play all the time out in the fields and in their yard, all the time. And they were very good boys, always listened to their mother. Well, almost. Now, the one thing their mother said to them was, boys, do you see that old well in the corner of the yard? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Never play on it. Okay. Well, now, again, I know that none of my friends listening to me would ever do this. But you know how sometimes your parents say, now don't touch that, and the thing they tell you not to touch calls your name. You can hear it. Just touch me one time. They won't know. If I wasn't so special, why would they try to stop you from touching me? Well, the same thing happened with that well. One morning, the mother went out to wash clothes at the river, and Tikkitikkitembo, no sarimbo, chari bari ruchi, pip peri pimbo, and Chang were playing near the well. And that well started to call Chang's name. Chang, Chang, come over here. Chang was a good boy. So he planted his feet and looked at that well and said, no. But the well said, Chang, don't you want to see what's in here? Aren't you just the least bit curious? No. And then his brother, Tikkitikkitembo, no sarimbo, chari bari ruchi, pip peri pimbo, said, you're chicken. Chang said, I'm not chicken. Tikkitikkitembo, no sarimbo, chari bari ruchi, pip peri pimbo said, oh yes you are, you're chicken. If you weren't chicken, you would go play on that well. I'm not chicken. So Chang went over to the well. He put one foot on the edge of the well. And then he put another foot on the edge of the well. And then he stood up. And he could see all over the yard. It was wonderful. So he started to walk around the yard. Oh, it was great. And then he said, I can stand on one foot. Oh, that worked. I can stand on another foot. And he fell in the well. Tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, charibaruchi, pitperipimbo ran down to the river where his mother was and said, Mother, 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 Chang has fallen in the well. His mother couldn't hear him over the water. So he tapped her on the shoulder. Mother, 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 Chang has fallen into the well. Oh, said his mother, that tiresome boy. Go and get the old man with the ladder. So, tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, charibariruchi, pitperipimbo went to the old man with the ladder. Oh man, he said, Chang has fallen into the well. So, Chang has fallen in the well. The old man got his ladder and hurried over and put the ladder down the well and pulled Chang out. And then he pushed the water out and pulled the air in, and Chang said, and was fine. And he had learned his lesson. He was never going to play with that well again. Now, boys and girls, when your brother or sister or cousin or your friend makes a mistake, do you learn from their mistake and never do it again? I bet you do. Well, tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, charibariruchi, pitperipimbo is not as smart as you. So, months later, after he had managed to forget all about Chang, he and his brother were playing outside. And Chang said to his brother, I wasn't chicken. I played on the well. Tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, charibariruchi, pitperipimbo said, I'm not chicken either. I just don't want to play on the well. Well, said Chang, I went on that well. I put both feet on the well. I walked around the well. I danced on one leg on the well. And you fell in. Well, but that's okay, said Chang, because I did it. I walked around the well. I danced on the well. I stood on one foot on the well. You're chicken. I'm not chicken. Yeah, you're chicken. I walked around the well. I danced on the well. I danced on the well, and you're chicken. Boys and girls, tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, charibariruchi, pitperipimbo had to play on that well. He couldn't let his brother call him a chicken. So he walked over to the well. And first he just walked around it. He thought about what happened to Chang. And then he thought, you know, I'm stronger than him. I have wonderful balance. Mother tells me that all the time. I'm a good dancer. I'm going to walk on that well. So he put one leg on the well and another leg on the well. I'm up. And then he thought, but Chang walked around the well, and so he walked around the well. And then he thought, Chang stood on one leg, so he stood on one leg. And then he stood on the other leg, and he thought, I'm better than Chang. I'm going to do the dance that we've been practicing. I'm going to do it on the well. Oh, boys and girls, I'm afraid to tell you, but I have to. We have to finish the story. So tikkitikkitembo started to do the dance that they had been practicing. There was a part, boys and girls, where he had to stand on one leg and spin around. Should he do it? He should do it. Okay. He stood on one leg and spun around and fell in the water. Oh, Chang, he thought, what have I done? So he ran to the river where his mother was doing laundry. He said, mother, tikki, bata. And his mother said, what are you saying? Tikki, bata, tikki. You speak your brother's name with respect. So Chang calmed himself. He went to his calm place. He took a deep breath and he said, oh, mother, tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, chari pari ruchi, pip peri pimbo, have fallen in the well. Ah, said his mother, my precious pearl has fallen into the well. Quick, go get the old man. Go get the old man with the ladder. Chang ran as fast as he could, thinking, tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, chari pari ruchi, pip peri pimbo, tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, chari pari ruchi, pip peri pimbo. And he got to the old man with the ladder, and he said, oh man, tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, chari pari ruchi, pip peri pimbo has fallen in the well. Oh, said the old man, your mother's precious pearl has fallen in the well. So he got his ladder and walked to the well. He put the ladder down the well. He crawled down, pulled up tikkitikkitembo, and laid him on the ground. He pushed the water out and pulled the air in. And pushed the water out and pulled the air in. And pushed the water out and pulled the air in. And finally, tikkitikkitembo woke up. But you know, he had been in that cold water so long that it took him a long time to recover. And so, said my friend Ping, that is why Chinese parents give their favorite children little short names instead of long, great ones. Tikkitikkitembo, no sarembo, chari bari ruchi, pip peri pingbo is now called Chang. Boys and girls, I have to go. But I've had so much fun, and I want you to remember, if you hear this song, you know I'm coming. Ready? A story, I tell you, you tell me a story. Bye.